This is massive. According to an NBA insider, he states that Chicago Bulls All-Star DeMar DeRozan would actually prefer a trade to the New York Knicks. Now, we knew things were going bad in Chicago, but this is a shocking development. We're going to break down this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. According to reports, DeMar DeRozan prefers a trade to the New York Knicks. I didn't say Zach LaVine. I didn't say Alex Caruso. I said DeMar DeRozan. 34-year-old DeMar DeRozan. Now, we knew ever since the Chicago Bulls had reports coming out of their camp indicating that they potentially could want to trade DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, we knew a lot of teams potentially could be interested. What I didn't foresee, though, was that DeMar DeRozan and his camp would get a report out there signaling that if he was going to be traded by the Bulls, he would want to go to the New York Knicks. Shout out to Sam Amick of The Athletic for reporting the following. DeMar DeRozan has the Knicks and the Heat listed as his preferred landing spots if the Bulls were to trade him. Amick states the following. The Miami Heat and the New York Knicks are known to be preferable to DeRozan if he winds up getting moved. Even though the Los Angeles Lakers might have eyes for DeMar DeRozan, the six-time All-Star doesn't necessarily feel the same way if he ends up being moved by the Chicago Bulls. Shout out to Sam Amick from The Athletic for giving us this massive update. DeMar DeRozan not heading to LA, I think this is the biggest point of this entire report, because ever since I heard DeMar DeRozan was on the trading block, I thought he was LA bound for sure, without a doubt. But now, thanks to Sam Amick, he threw a wrench in all of those plans, reporting that actually DeMar would prefer a trade to New York or the Heat. And the New York part is actually not a surprise. If you look and go back, before he joined Chicago, there were reports linking him to New York even at that point in time. Because even then, New York needed another shot creator and they needed another scorer. And right now, you could argue that the Knicks need another shot creator and another scorer. So he would have a certain fit on this roster. However, in my opinion, you do not make a trade for DeMar DeRozan. 34-year-old DeMar DeRozan. Aging. Basically, he's going to get worse before he gets better. If you're going to give up significant assets to get him. Also, he's on an expiring contract as well. So maybe some of you might try to deal and tell me that the trade may not be that expensive. Even if the trade is not that expensive, you're still giving up assets for an aging player in DeMar DeRozan, who, by the way, is a mid-range assassin, but not a three-point shooter. And we need more players on this team that can help stretch the floor. DeMar DeRozan doesn't do that. If anything, he'll take away shots from the people that we already have who thrive in the mid-range. RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle. They all thrive in the mid-range. And if the ball is out of their hands and in DeMar DeRozan's hands, he's going to be in the mid-range too, basically taking shots. He's not going to be spacing the floor either. He's going to be clogging the paint with Mitchell Robinson, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle. All of those guys are going to be in the paint. So guess what's going to happen? Defenses are going to have an easier time to guard the New York Knicks because all of their best players who do their best damage are in the mid-range. So they know where to guard. That means they can go ahead and forget about the three-point range because they don't even have to worry about it given the players in the lineup. And if you added DeMar DeRozan to this team, you are going to be basically benching another player. Or you're going to be trading that player away. You're either going to be trading Grimes to get DeMar, or you're going to be benching Grimes in order to start DeMar. DeMar who plays no defense. So you're going to have somebody who gives you great offense, aging in this league, going reverse, because basically you don't do this. You don't want to be the team that trades for the aging star. Because that means as they get older, they get worse and your team gets worse and the trade looks worse. This isn't 28, 29-year-old DeMar DeRozan. This is 34-year-old DeMar DeRozan. Look what he's doing for the Bulls right now. I'm not saying he's not lighting it up and giving them great numbers. But I am saying, At this stage in his career, can you really count on him to be a number 2 option on a championship team? Number 3 option on a championship team? Maybe a number 4 option on a championship team? Well, quite honestly, the only way to determine that is based on the players around him and who he's playing with and the talent level of those players, because that's going to determine what he's going to do and his impact if he were to be on this team. Because in my opinion, at this stage of his career, DeMar DeRozan is going to be needed to be surrounded by other All-Stars, likely in their prime, in order for him to make an impact. And I don't think the New York Knicks have those players to fit DeMar DeRozan at this point in time. It just wouldn't make sense. DeMar DeRozan takes away from what your best players do already. Jalen Brunson dropped the 42-piece the other night. You want to take the ball away from him and give it to DeMar DeRozan? I understand that besides Brunson in crunch time, there really isn't anybody else that we can count on consistently. And maybe DeMar DeRozan can be that player for the Knicks. I've seen him do it time and time again for each and every franchise that he's been a part of. I've seen it for years with Toronto. So I'm not trying to argue about the talent or the ability. I know he can do it. But I don't want him taking shots over other certain players on the roster. I don't want him taking shots over Brunson. And if he's added to this squad, he's going to do a lot of his damage in the mid-range. And that's where Jalen Brunson thrives. He is not a perfect fit for this Knicks team. The perfect fit for this Knicks team is a player that's a 3-and-D player that can shoot lights out or close to it from the three-point range. And there is one player on my list right now that is most realistic that can do that. OG Anunoby. But that particular dream scenario does not happen until this offseason, when he becomes, in my opinion, a free agent, because he's going to decline that player option, test free agency. Because he's CAA, the Knicks are going to be coming, calling, knocking, and hopefully getting that signing done, announcing it, and helping the Knicks take one step better in the Eastern Conference and making them a more legit threat in the East. But the DeMar DeRozan aspect of it would not make sense right now. The Knicks do need a scorer, but they need somebody who can shoot the three as well as the mid-range. DeMar cannot shoot the three. He can't play defense. He affects what your best players do already. It just doesn't make sense on any level for the Knicks to go after DeMar DeRozan. And you're giving up assets to get DeMar DeRozan. And a lot of people think that the trade is going to be cheap. Where is it written that because DeMar DeRozan has an expiring contract more or less, that his trade offer or his trade package is going to be cheap? Where does it say that? They're going to require probably some first-round picks, protected or not, and some young assets. If you're okay with giving up those players for a rental in DeMar DeRozan, then I don't know what's going on. Because for me, I can't do it, and I won't do it. I am not getting DeMar DeRozan, an aging star in this league, making a move that the Knicks of past regimes would make, getting that aging star that's basically going out of the league on this Knicks roster, hurting my team in the process, in my opinion. I'm not going to do it. Sam Amick of The Athletic also reported that DeMar DeRozan, perhaps more than any other of the aforementioned players in Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso, is considered very likely to be on the move before the deadline passes. And with good reason. Not only is the 34-year-old very productive, 21.3 points, 4.6 assists, and 3.2 rebounds in 18 games on average this season, and thus attractive to contenders who are looking for more firepower. That's the Knicks right there. But also, his expiring contract, $28.6 million this season, should incentivize Bill, president of basketball operations, to avoid losing him for nothing in free agency this summer. So it seems that DeMar DeRozan, out of all the other players on the Bulls that potentially could be available via trade, is the most likely player to be moved by the trade deadline. And according to Sam Amick of The Athletic, it's for one good reason. It's because of that expiring contract. The Bulls are not going to really have any use of him, and if they let him walk in free agency for nothing, it's going to look like egg on the Bulls president's face if they didn't get a deal done. So they have a lot of motivation to get a DeMar DeRozan deal done and to move him. Where he gets moved is anybody's guess. I thought it was going to be the Lakers, but now with this report coming out, it could be the Heat. Honestly, it could be the Knicks because the Knicks do need more scoring. They do need somebody else who can create and get their own shot. DeMar DeRozan checks those boxes and could do that for the Knicks without a doubt, without question. We all know that. We all believe that. But we all also understand the issues that comes with trading for DeMar DeRozan and all the things he gives you as well, and all the things he doesn't give you, and all the things that we see with the Chicago Bulls that he doesn't give them. It's a clear issue. He doesn't give three-point shooting. He doesn't give defense. He's going to cost assets. You're going to have less assets to make more moves that you're going to still have to make even after you add DeMar DeRozan. So this move does not make sense for the Knicks to do right now. And not only that, DeMar DeRozan does not fit the Knicks at this moment in his career. He does not offer the skill set, in my opinion, that the Knicks need urgently right now. And if that 3-and-D wing that they get is OG Anunoby, the New York Knicks will take another step as a team, as a franchise, and mark my words, they will be a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. That's the type of players that the New York Knicks have to target and go after. Young, defensive, wing-like players like that. Two-way players like that. Players that can shoot the three like OG Anunoby. Not aging out of the league players like DeMar DeRozan, who plays little to no defense and cannot shoot a three-pointer to save his life. That's my opinion on this situation. I hope that Leon Rose and company do not trade for DeMar DeRozan at all. And if that call comes in and they hear that DeMar DeRozan still wants to come to the Knicks and here's the trade offer that the Bulls are willing to accept to get him, I hope and pray that if it's not something in terms of a steal type of deal, that Leon Rose will hang up the phone and never talk about DeMar DeRozan joining the Knicks again. But what about you guys? What do you think about this situation? Would you like DeMar DeRozan on the New York Knicks? Would you like his skill set with the Knicks? Do you think he fits? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.